Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be filming my physical TBR, so that's every book on my physical TBR. You may have seen videos like this before, but we're going to be getting into my whole bookshelf and going through every single book which I need to read off this bookshelf. So as you can see, my bookshelf's getting quite full, and if you follow me on my bookstagram slash like just second Instagram, then you'll know that this wasn't this full when I first got my bookshelf, and I've bought more books and people have sent me books and I've just had less and less place to put them. But we're going to be getting into every single book on this bookshelf and going through which ones I need to read. So they are sort of mixed up, so not completely in order of like which ones I need to read and which ones I don't, but we're going to go through each shelf and I'm going to show you every single book on my TBR. So let's get straight into it. So guys, I don't know if this is like the best setup to do, but I'm just going to do it. I might stand on this side actually. That's a little bit better, plus I'm going this way along so it would make sense. I'm just going to put you guys closer to the bookshelf. So sorry if I'm like a big head on your screen, but I just want to go through each one. So we'll start off with this shelf. This is like my romances shelf, romances and contemporary or literary fiction bookshelf. So this just has like, so up to about here is my romances, and then the rest is like contemporary fiction or literary fiction. So that's that. I also like to order them in author. So like if I have an author that has more than one book that I have on my shelf, for example, I have Beth O'Leary's The Flat Share, and I also have two other of her books. I like to put them next to each other because then you sort of like get a theme going, because these all match sort of similarly to each other. I'll give you another example. Who else have I got on here? So you can see here that I've got my Colleen Hoover books, so I have all three of those. And yeah, that's basically how I organise my books. So let's get straight into this. So the first book I have is The Lock-In by... Okay, so as I was saying, we have Phoebe Lockhurst's The Lock-In. Just haven't got round to reading this. If you didn't know, because you don't follow my bookstagram, basically the way I pick out a new book, unless I have a specific book I want to read for a video or for one of my book clubs, then I usually pick my next book out of this, and I've just not picked it out yet, and it's not been a book that I've needed to read for a video or that's something that's been picked in a book club, so I've just not got round to reading it. But yeah, so we have Phoebe Lockhurst, The Lock-In, we have Holly Burns, Pretending, again sort of the same reason. I've just not got round to it. Then we have, the next one we have is Beth O'Leary's The Road Trip. I read both of her first books and absolutely loved them. They were brilliant. I really enjoy Beth O'Leary's writing style, and I really enjoyed both of her books, the first ones that she released. I'm hoping to read The No Show when I get around to getting it. But yeah, that's the three that I've got on there at the minute. I've still not read that one. Next is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Again, still just haven't read this. Really looking forward to reading it though, because I know how big of a book it was about a year ago. It was really popular, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading that. We have The Hating Game, which I got in August last year from The Works. If you're in the UK and you haven't shopped at The Works for your books, then you are missing out. Don't be paying Waterstones prices for TikTok books. Honestly, you can get cheap TikTok books from The Works. Don't be bothering paying full price at Waterstones, it's just no point. I've also heard apparently The Hating Game is being sold in Aldi at the minute, so check that out. I think they're selling it for like £2.99, so definitely check that out if it's in your area. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Really looking forward to reading this book. I've heard so many things about The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I've just like again not got around to reading it yet, but I really hope I get to read it this year because I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see what the hype is all about, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. The next book is Lucy Score's The Things We Never Got Over. Again, another book I'm absolutely looking forward to this year. I'm really hoping I pick this up. It's a book which a lot of people have talked about, and also can we just like appreciate this cover. I love the glittery like aspects of the flowers, and it just is gorgeous. I can't wait to read this book. I just want to see what all the hype is about. Then we have The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Really want to read the series. It's the Dreamland Billionaires series. Really want to read it. Like I said, if you have read any of these books and you recommend any of them, then please let me know. I really want to read some of these books, and if you like them, then definitely check them out. We have The Keeper of Stories by Sally Page. I actually got gifted this through my Amazon wishlist. If you haven't already seen, my Amazon wishlist is linked below if you ever want to send me a book. You don't have to, but it is there if anyone feels the need to send me a book. It's also on my Bookstagram on there, but I'm in a few Facebook groups where you do like gifting sort of things to like on your Amazon wishlist. You might gift people books. So it's The Keeper of Stories by Sally Page. I've heard this is really good. It's actually an author which isn't too big yet. She's sort of like just branching out, and I'm so excited to read this book. It sounds really interesting and I cannot wait. And then I've got Faith Hodgson's What Happened to Us, another romance. I got this in my A Box of Stories subscription, so if you haven't heard of A Box of Stories, they are brilliant. I absolutely love their mission. Basically, they give out, you get a subscription of 4 books a month. You can also gift people it if you prefer to gift rather than like having the subscription. You get 4 books, and they are from, you can get different genres. I always pick the surprise one because I get the most variety out of it, and I just want to try as many genres as possible. But you can get 4 books which the author is mainly like unknown, they're not like popular, and possibly their books might get forgotten and just not read or talked about. So by giving people the option to read them, they don't go to waste, and the author actually gets some recognition from it. So that's always great. I love giving authors recognition that like might not do. So as I was saying, I got the Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren from my wish list. I'm so excited to read the Soulmate Equation. Really excited about that. Christina Lauren is loved by so many people. Like a lot of people really like her books, and I've not read any yet, so like I'm starting off with the Soulmate Equation unless I get one of the others first. And yeah, so now we're moving on to, I'll just move you over here so you can see it. There we go. So now we're moving on to my contemporary fiction or literary fiction. It's sort of just fiction. So we have Are We Having Fun Yet by Lucy Mangan. This was a hardcover I got in A Box of Stories again. Not sponsored, but A Box of Stories, you get 4 books, and one of those books is always a hardback. So you always are going to get a nice hardback when you get A Box of Stories. This sounds really interesting. It's about let me just open the cover. It's about mother, I think, and she is really wanting to just chill out and relax, but her family are always running around and causing problems. So she's always trying to figure out how she's able to enjoy herself while having by having 2 children and a husband. And yeah, it just sounds really interesting. I'm really looking forward to that one. I then have the phone box At the Edge of the World. This was really popular at one point, I think not last year but the year before, by Laura Imai Messina. This sounds really interesting as well. I'm really looking for, I like this sort of, like the premise of these sort of books, and like Before the Coffee Gets Cold and The Midnight Library. Those sort of concepts sort of really interest me, and yeah, I'm super excited to read that. I also have The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I got from one of my pen pals' sisters. We were doing like this swap sort of thing, and she sent it me. I know that people have like mixed opinions on The Perks of Being a Wallflower, so I'm really interested to see what I think. I think it's a YA, I'm not 100% certain, but it's a really popular book. It's been popular for a while. But yeah, so I'm gonna read that. I've got Kazuo Ishiguro's Clara and the Sun. Really looking forward to reading this. Really like the premise, and also I think it's Japanese fiction, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. I'm really wanting to read more like fiction from other countries. For example, the Room which I read the other month is like Irish, by an Irish author, and I've not read any Irish authors as of that point, so I was really looking forward to reading Room. We then have Kim Ji-young's Born 1982 by Cho Nam-ju, a Korean author, Korean literature. Really excited to read this. Again, it's a book that people just absolutely love, and I love the cover. Honestly, it's so aesthetic. Like, I literally just love aesthetic book covers. If your book has like an aesthetic cover, I'm gonna read it. So yeah. Next we have Love Hope by Juliet Ann Conlin. It's just a book that I saw in the works, and I really like the sound of it. It's about this girl that is like I think it's like this old person and this girl, like they're she's like a violinist, and I think it's something to do with that, and they write letters or something. I can't remember fully, but yeah, really looking forward to reading that. We then have We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Again, another controversial book. Some people love it, some people hate it, so definitely looking to see my opinion of it, because obviously there's been a few more books since I think come out, like Family of Liars I think is one of them, but really looking forward to reading that. Then I have this one which I saw in the works in August when I went to Wales, and I was sort of looking for summer books and like short books I could possibly read while I was away, but I never actually got round to it because I didn't finish the book that I was currently reading at the time. But it is Heatwave by Victor Jesson, and it's really sounds really interesting. If you haven't checked out this book, it's literally like got like probably about, I don't even know if it's literally got just over 100 pages, and it sounds so interesting. One of the lines from the book is, "Oscar is dead because I watched him die and did nothing." So yeah, I think it's sort of about this guy that like is feeling like it was his responsibility to do something because he was watching this guy die and didn't do anything about it. It's sort of looking at his conscience and the way like he goes forward about it. It's really it sounds so interesting, and it's such a short book, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. I've not heard hardly anyone talk about it, but it was really popular in Waterstones, so definitely check it out. Literally look how thin it is. So I'm super excited to read that, maybe in the summer hopefully. And then I've got Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Again, really looking forward to that. Definitely my sort of book by the sounds of it. I've got Adam Silvera's They Both Die at the End. Again, another controversial book. Some people love it, some people hate it. I have this one which I was also gifted. I can't remember. Yeah, I think I was gifted it for my birthday. It's Rainbow Rowell's Almost Midnight, and it's like a collection of, I think it's like 2 stories, like 2 short stories about Christmas time. Really interesting. I can't wait to read it. Then we have Sally Rooney's Normal People, another popular book which I am super excited to read. Really looking forward to it. Then I have Karen Joy Fowler's The Jane Austen Club. I don't know, it just sounded interesting. Really sounded interesting, so I picked it up. Then I have Tiari Jones's Silver Sparrow. I got this actually free for while I was at college, and I was doing like, they was doing like this thing where they were trying to give out an author's book which wasn't getting that much recognition, and they were giving out her books for free. So I'm super excited to read that. It sounds so interesting, and it's a lot about identity and things like that, so I'm super excited to read that. And then now go down to this shelf. I don't know if it's better if I maybe pull the camera down a bit. There we go. Okay, so on this shelf, I'll just move it over here. On this shelf I have some other sort of contemporary romance fiction, my Colleen Hoover books. They just didn't fit on here, so I put them down here. I then have, also because Verity is sort of like a thriller, I guess. I think Verity is a thriller, so that's why I put that on there with the rest of the Colleen Hoover books. I haven't yet read November 9 or Verity. Really looking forward to it. I loved It Ends With Us, as you saw in my vlog, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. Then we have like my thrillers, my mysteries, and my sort of like dystopian, but like, yeah, sort of like dystopian. I'm not really sure what genre this is, but I'm still looking forward to reading it. Again, I got it in a box of stories box. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is Letters from the Dead by Sam Hurecom. Really looking forward to read that. Death Right by Kerry Watts. I'm not really too sure what this is about now, but I must have liked the sound of it when I was buying it in the works and just picked it up. So yeah, I've got House of Beauty by Melba Escobar. That sounded really interesting when I was reading it in the charity shop. I've got Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Really want to see the film, I think it is. So I really want to read that. I've got People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd. Sounded really good. How to Kill Your Family, another popular book. The Life and Death of Sophie Stark by Anna North. I got this in a blind date with a book. Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. When he first came out with this, it was really popular, so I really want to see what the hype's about. Then we have The Better Sister by Ella Fair Burke, again from my Box of Stories box. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Such a popular TikTok book, really looking forward to reading that. We have, that's it for that side. We have The Last Act by Brad Parks. Not heard anything about this, really looking forward to reading it, just a thriller. Then we have Sully, Miracle on the Hudson by doesn't say. Oh, Chesley B. Sullenberger III. I think that's who it is. I don't know, but yeah, so there's that. Apparently it's a film. Then we've got Valentine by Elizabeth Wetmore, and we have oh no, I've already read that. Okay, so now let's get down to my classics. I'm just gonna move the camera. Okay guys, so now we have the classics and historical fiction shelf. So this is sort of a bit of everything really. It does actually come down to the second shelf because my hardback wouldn't fit on the shelf. But we have Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. I'm really scared to get to this book because it's so long. I'm worried that it's going to take me like half a year to read. So a little bit scared about that. We have Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, such a popular book. Again with Jane Austen's Emma, Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. Then I have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. These two actually are John's books, they just sort of got in here, but I would be interested in reading them. There's George Orwell's Animal Farm and George Orwell's 1984. And then have Jan Martel's Life of Pi, The Bell Jar by Sophia Plath. Really looking forward to reading this one. I know it's like a depressing book, but I do want to see what the hype's about. We have Richard Adams' Watership Down. I absolutely love the film when I was a kid, even though it's absolutely traumatizing and sad. It's a really good film and I want to see what the book's like. Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, Virginia Woolf's The Waves, Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, again another book where I'm sort of like, I don't want to pick it in case it's too long. Then I have Yukio Mishima's The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea. We have Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita, again a very controversial book, but looking forward to reading that. And I have E.T.A. Hoffman's The Nutcracker. So they're sort of all my classics. Then for my historical fiction, I have The Burningales by C.J. Tudor. I have Maggie O'Farrell's Hamnet, and I have The Muse by Jessie Burton. So let's move down to the next shelf. Sit down for the rest of this video now. But yes, let's get straight into this bookshelf. So this bookshelf is still quite bare. It doesn't have many books on at all. But this is my fantasy bookshelf, some translated fiction, and this is a historical fiction. I don't know if it's like actual fiction. I think it's fiction, but yeah. So the next book on my physical TBR is A Tapestry of Treason by Anne O'Brien. And then I have this translated fiction. I think it's like Italian translated fiction. So really interesting to read this. It's Voices in the Evening by Natalia Ginsberg. So yeah, really excited to read this. Sounds really interesting as well. Then we'll go on to my fantasies, so I'll start from this side just because it's easier to go through. Again, these are in order of series, like I said before. So we have In King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard, which is part of the Red Queen series. I have Olivia Blake's The Atlas 6, really looking forward to reading that. And then we have the Shatter Me series, so I have Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me, Restore Me, Defy Me. I know there's obviously a lot more that I need to get to put in between them, but yeah. Then I have The X-Hex by Erin Sterling. I have Sarah J Maas's Akatar, so A Court of Thorns and Roses. Really excited to read that. Then I have Queen of Myths and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. Again, another book I'm looking forward to reading. And then I have Leigh Bardugo's Six of Crows. I know not everyone enjoys this, but if you enjoyed it, I recommend the duology. Definitely let me know. So yeah, I've hardly read any of those. Actually, I have read these two. It's only King's Cage that I actually need to read. I don't know why I read them all out. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. That's like all of my main physical TBR books. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit of a longer one from me. But yeah, I just wanted to go through my physical TBR with you. And if you want to see any updates on my reading journey, then definitely check out my Bookstagram, which is linked below. I update you on what book I'm currently reading and also like books that I've read. So yeah, definitely check that out if you are interested, and I will see you in my next video. So yeah, bye!